Live from the Shooting from the Lip studio in Louisville, Kentucky, it's time for Lip Service with your hosts, Kevin Hale and Russ Hinkle.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Hale in the house tonight. It's Monday night, August 1st, 2016. It is Lip Service with myself and Russ Hinkle. Russ will be joining me in a few. Hope everyone's doing well after the first work day of the week. And then we are 7 months into the year. Good Lord, 7 months of 2016 have come and gone. Wow. Social media, you can subscribe to our show via iTunes and YouTube. Twitter at The Shooting Lip, my Twitter at Kevin Hale 423, Russ at Reality Russ. You can like us, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Shooting from the Lip. Live tonight via Blog Talk Radio for the latest and greatest edition of SFTL. SFTL 174. 174 of these shows. Actually, there's more of them, but some of those were specials that I didn't deem, per se, an actual podcast number. So I think I've got over 200 shows that I've done with Shooting from the Lip. I'm digressing. Anyways, good show tonight. Interesting show. First segment coming up around 10:10. We've got Gus and Moni O'Haron. They are part of Wellspring Awareness. Second segment, we'll be talking some fitness with a friend of mine, Cynthia Williams, who owns 502 Fit Pass. And the third segment, we welcome back one of our favorites, Jake Badger, drummer with WildWood. He's going to come on and promote a benefit that's going on this Sunday, August 7th, in New Albany, the Wix Pizza Place, for the third annual Country for the Kids benefit for Camp Quality Kentuckiana. A lot of great local bands will be playing at that gig, so looking forward to talking to Jake. One thing I want to do is promote the County Line, the weekend gigs. This show is brought to you in part by the County Line. Our man Chris Lucian, manager of the line, he's got another great weekend lined up on Friday the 5th. Brian Elmore and Big Steel Train will be performing. And then Saturday, August 6th, Tayler, Lynch, Insane Outlaws will be doing it up at the Line. Again, it's the County Line weekend gigs. So I'm trying to think what's going on this weekend as I wait for Russ. One thing kind of blows me away. There was the hot air balloon tragedy in Texas that killed 16 people, 15 passengers, and I guess the pilot of the balloon. And what they're saying is it hit power lines before it crashed. You had that scenario. I'm guessing, there's I don't know the logistics when it comes to a hot air balloon ride, but you got that scenario where somehow, some way they hit power lines, and which in turn caused the crash and killed all of the people on board. And then you got this guy who can skydive from 25,000 feet, which is what? That's a lot of miles. What is it? I don't know, 10, 12. Anyways, 25,000 feet, no parachute. He's skydiving. And the dude hits the net, lands on a net. And granted, yeah, he's performed certain types of training to accomplish this. But the notion that someone can jump out of a plane at 25,000 feet and their target is a net, which is what I'm hearing is 1/3 the size of a football field, there's not a lot of room for error. And I can't help to think that at 25,000 feet, I'm guessing you have to factor in wind, and obviously the guy knows what he's doing. But to basically go on a straight line to hit the net just blows me away. When I saw the video of it, and seeing him talking afterwards, that might be one of the arguably the most insane thing that I've ever seen. And the dude afterwards on the interview, it's like his heartbeat was normal. He was just having a great conversation about it. So I'm like, wow, what else is going on?
What's up, man?
How are you?
Oh, not too much. Just had somebody that it was a charity tournament that I was in, and or somebody was in, and their partner canceled on them, so they called me to come play for some kind of Catholic children's charity. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out the name of it.
Gotcha. Well, welcome to the show. We're ready to jump. Watch your sound. Well, hold on. Let me bring on our first guest, Gus and Moni O'Haron, right?
Yeah,
you there?
That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but
Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Gus, tell us about yourself. Give a quick bio for you guys.
Well, basically, I was a pastor for 21 years, Christian pastor. Spent a lot of time studying, religion and doing the church thing. Traveled the world, preached to large congregations on several different continents, and went through some life transformations, went through a real awakening where I began to look around and see a lot of corruption in the church. I saw a lot of hypocrisy, and I knew that myself, even in my own self, I wasn't who I wanted to be or who I professed to be. And after 21 years of being a pastor, I walked away from all of that and really did some soul searching. And through that had a real spiritual awakening, in that I began to see that the Eastern practices of yoga and meditation could be, first of all, were confirmed in the Bible, and then could also be used to help me to really find victory in a lot of areas where I was struggling.
Now, how long has this been part of your duration as far as your experience?
Yeah, the newer journey. Where we turned a corner.
Yeah, I would say probably in the last couple of years. I mean, it was many years in the making. I struggled for many years with looking at, seeing people who struggled with certain issues in their lives, struggled with addiction, struggled with certain emotional issues, and it seemed like they weren't getting any help. It seemed like standard Christianity was not making any real changes in their lives. And so for years I kind of struggled with that. Once I finally found the courage to break away from where I was and walk away from my, the ministry and my career for the last 21 years, I really started getting serious about doing some soul searching. I read the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, a lot of different texts that I began to see these different truths in Eastern religions and Western religions and Christianity, and how that really, when you get down to their core, they're all one. And begin to apply those things in my life, and I begin to see some real changes and some real differences taking place.
Now, with Moni, you do speaking. You also are a yoga and meditation instructor and a mother of three. Tell us about you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, ironically, Gus and I were in the same church organization. We knew of each other, but didn't know each other, in any association. He was, in another state as I, and so we both came up with this very strict, Kevin, it was, you don't go to the movies, and you don't drink, and you don't wear makeup, and you wear your skirts, and so we were in this very conservative background that was supposed to equal, this glorious relationship with Christ, and with God. And so we took the bait, and it was, there were certain things that seemed so great and were fulfilling and seemed to be parallel to the Bible, but yet in the end, so many of us weren't happy. We married people within the church because it was the right thing to do, and it was almost, cultish. It was almost like arranged marriages in a sense. So we all were on this little drumbeat with these little people that, other little spouses and so forth, and everyone, drank the same Kool-Aid. And then, I think we hit our early 40s, and everyone's unhappy, and you finally get the guts enough when you get a little bit older to make a change. So, so that's what...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm going to bring my co-host Russ on. Russ, everything they're saying right now is kind of music to your ears, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had my departure from religion. It was a little bit different a journey. It was more of a psychological journey with reading the works of Thomas Paine and the Age of Reason and a lot of other, Enlightenment type philosophers who just kind of rejected religion altogether. So a lot of them were deists, where they just said, okay, yeah, there's something we can sense or feel, something greater than us, and to answer some other questions. But as one of my favorite authors, Christopher Hitchens, said, that deism is just a stepping stone to atheism most of the time. But my question would be, because I've heard that kind of the journey that you all have been on. How and from reading like kind of the workup before the show of kind of what you are into with the website and the business and everything, I just wonder, do you just kind of use the Bible now more allegorically, as the Jews do? Most Jews do the Old Testament, and just kind of go with the good teaching of it, kind of like Thomas Jefferson did, pulling out all the parts that Jesus spoke, and kind of leaving a lot of the mythology and the Old Testament stuff, behind. Is that kind of how you incorporate it system, or is there a different way?
Well, yeah, in many ways, that is true. I still believe that the Bible is divinely inspired. I don't necessarily take everything in there literally. However, I do really take what I can see confirmed from the Bible to also some of the Eastern practices. And one of the things where we have found that Christianity has failed because it's all about left brain thinking. They're going to tell you what to believe and tell you how to interpret the Bible, and if you believe these things, then everything's going to be okay. Well, Moni and I both found that we did it as 100%, and found that it really wasn't okay. And so we started looking. We still believe that we are still Christians, but at the same time, there were some things that weren't working. And so we found that the thing that, we felt was missing was, how do I change my emotional state? How do I change the things I'm really struggling with? And the key to that really is the enlightenment of the body and using the body, which is, the core of yogic practice, to shift the emotional and mental state into a better place, so that we can actually live out the true meaning of our creed and be love to our families and to our communities.
Yeah, and Russ, what you were asking, I personally, probably maybe more so than Gus, I kind of threw everything away and started from scratch. And it was, to me, it was almost refreshing that, after getting into meditation and yoga and just silencing everything and not having this specific creed and this certain doctrine to live by. So then I would look at certain scripture, and I felt like I was looking at it from what Moni, and with, to be a little bit politically correct, with the divine inside me, might, guide me and lead me in this truth. Mm-hmm. And so it came fresh and it came new, and especially with throwing everything away. And I think the coolest thing was that, pray, God, if you please, can you please help me, and if it be your will. And this whole concept of this big judgmental, God with his gavel, looking down on us. And through this journey, we've understood a much sweeter, loving nature, if we as parents, our kid doesn't get up in the morning and say, Mom, do you think maybe I could just maybe have a piece of bread and, some socks? No, we're like, oh, my goodness, we know we give him the world, But yet we thank God, well, we beg him and we become beggars. And so with Russ, also what you were saying as far as the Old Testament, as far as, our faith, that Christ came away and did away with the law, that I really, walk softly with the things of the law, because it's not law anymore. And when I threw away everything, I think what kept me believing that I believe that, Jesus walked this earth, but keep believing in a God, is that something was trumping karma in my life. Something was confounding karma. There was a divine intelligence, if nothing else.
Russ, man, I'm telling you what. I thought I was going to have to referee this segment with you, Russ. It's been smooth.
Looks like we're all on the same page here.
Well, almost. I mean, yeah, Russ.
Well,
go ahead, Russ.
For the other shoe to drop, though, I mean, unfortunately, from a more secular, viewpoint, a more scientifically secular viewpoint, when the one thing that I hear a lot is, Christ came and brought the new law. I'm sorry, even if you're the God of the universe, if you got the Old Testament on your resume, it doesn't matter. Nobody can come wipe the law away. The Old Testament is an absolute deal breaker on a resume for God or man or anybody. If people like the fundamentalists who believe that the Old Testament literally happened, that Noah built a boat and got 5 million species of animal on it from every plant, every country on earth. That's where it's just it's kind of a deal breaker, even if Jesus erased the law. So I like where you all are going with it, kind of incorporating it in other ways and taking the good stuff out. But for Kevin kind of say where I'm coming from, it's the Old Testament it's just too horrific to be able to say, oh, somebody came and brought some new laws though, so we're good now. No, the Old Testament still is how it is, and if it was that way, I even become what's more than an atheist, which is an anti-theist. I wouldn't want it to be true if it could be true because it's so horrible. So that's where what Kevin's kind of referring to.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Jump in.
Yeah, how do you reconcile a God who professes to be love with all this hellfire and brimstone and judgment?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not that simple of a question. I don't ask how you reconcile it, because whatever did create me, however I was created, I have, another biblical principle, discernment. And I can discern. I don't need to ask the question, how can I, resolve it? That's horrific. That is beyond the pale. It's a deal breaker. It's like, the one thing I scare some of my Christian friends with when I'm just goofing off with them, I'm like, hey, the one unforgivable sin is denial of the Holy Spirit. And I've probably denied it, somewhere around 100 times. So I am definitely unforgiven. If the Bible's true, I am real screwed. So, but thankfully, I don't have to believe that.
Well, and and that was, I think, a big key, Ross. And you're actually bringing up another good point. Is that it's a very individual walk, and this modern day Christianity somehow, how did it morph into this? Everything's cookie cutter. Okay, you come for an hour and you give your offering, and we tell you how to, live your lives more or less. And there's this control and power and money and greed, and it's like all these dark parts of mankind come out in the Sunday morning service in these little different ways, of uniform Christianity. So for us, the true enlightenment has come in our own individual relationship and individual discovery, without having to worry what anyone thinks, impressing anyone, and it's for you, that for the Holy Spirit or your own guiding, something's going to lead you to the right light. And when you're cool with that, you're cool with everyone else.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I can share my experience, but that Jesus, if we went by that, he said to share the gospel. So I share my experience and my truth, but then it stops at that. But I'm not going to love you any different or look at you any different, because that's your journey. It's so freeing.
Yeah, I think we can always, look at the Bible, and we can debate Scripture, and we can debate principles and concepts. But the thing for me, Russ, was that when I sat down on a meditation mat and learned how to still my mind and focus on my body and go within, I learned how to release certain tensions and emotional tensions that I was carrying in my body through asana practice and yoga. I experienced a level of peace and joy that I had never known before. And so it's less, for us, it's less about debating principles or scriptures in the Bible, or whether the Old Testament, New Testament, and all that, because we could debate that till kingdom come. I like what the prophet said. He said, "Taste and see that the Lord is good," and it's really based on individual experience. And that's the thing I do like about the Eastern philosophies. They are based on what you directly contact. And I know of no better way to directly contact what I believe to be the divine intelligence that set this world and this universe into motion than through the practices of yoga and meditation to make direct contact with that. And there's no substitute for that.
No, I like that. When you guys say looking to go to the next level, define that.
Going to the next level, basically, for me, is to really have a deeper experience with. I'm going to use the word God. For me, I don't believe it really matters what you call it. It is a higher power. It is something that is beyond who we are. Having that direct experience, and through that direct experience, having it change who you are and how you interact with the people in your life. How do you forgive? How do you love? How do you learn to take the humble place when you are being challenged or put down in some way? How do you show forth the Christ nature, or some would call it the Buddha nature? How do you show that forth? That really is going to the next level.
Yeah, and I think for me, I unexpectedly stumbled upon a level. Again, you have to, not that we're martyrs, but gosh, since I was 15 until I was, 42, I was in this church and, living this little clean little life, but yet, the little dark corners of my life and my thought life and so forth. When we started doing this, it was just, okay, well, let's do this to handle our anxiety and to be more flexible. And it wasn't with any true intent. But all of a sudden, my next level was I had an awareness in my mind of when I was thinking about people in a negative way, or if I was. Sometimes, how we have a little conversation in our head with somebody that we might be ticked at, and so we tell them off our head, oh, yeah, that was really good. So all these little conversations and thoughts and judgments, I became aware of them, and I would nip them in the bud and think, you know what? That's not vibrating in love. If I'm going to have anything true on the outside, it has to be a genuine thought process or lack of thought on the inside. So as corny, and as cliche, meditation, when you stop thinking and when you stop all of that and just focus on the breath in your body and become this awareness. So that next level for me is truly, vibrating in your community with literally love on the inside, so that you're not judging and that you're being accepting. And, of course, we live in Colorado, so the joke is in Colorado, you come to a four-way stop sign and the guy beside you says, no, after you, and the guy across the street says, no, after you. So, it's kind of like that concept all the time.
Russ, do you even stop at stop signs anymore?
No, I don't stop at the stop signs because it's all pandemonium. I'm considering robbing a bank next week too.
Yeah, you're an anarchist.
Yeah.
He is a rebel. He's a rebel.
I'll probably just wait to see if Donald Trump wins or not before I become an anarchist.
Actually, that's a nice. What's your guys' take on Donald Trump? I know we're deviating, but it is a happening story. And what's crazy is that he very well. He could be our next president, and all of the stuff that comes with it. But what is your all's take with the whole political game?
I really don't. Yeah, I don't stay connected really a lot to the political stuff because my interests are in a sort of a different place. I kind of see both sides. There's certain things I like about Hillary. There's certain things about Trump that he says that I really like. I do perceive him as being a little brash, and that kind of scares me a little bit. Hey, whatever will be, will be.
A little.
I'm a little. A little, yeah. I'm a little bit more opinionated with it. You know, he's narcissistic, and you know, the saying "pretty is as pretty does," and he, you know, his lack of character, integrity, and his defensiveness, and his insecurities, and his childishness, and you know, he could knee-jerk in any way. And sure, maybe he's possibly, I don't even want to say intelligent enough, but wealthy enough to have the right place, and you know, have the right people in the different cabinets that we would need. But you know, the whole thing would literally scare the hell out of me. You know, Hillary has her dark side and hasn't always been there for the American people, and you know, there's a lot of dark little issues with people that drop dead that seem to be in that circle of people. But yet, gosh, you know, I just don't think we can win.
Right now, it's none of the above for me. But Russ, when she was describing the Donald, I was thinking, wait a minute, is she describing Trump or Russ?
Russ, man, he gives you a bad rap.
Defend yourself, Russ.
Doesn't believe in God, runs stop signs, narcissistic.
I'm a maniac. I'm definitely a maniac.
Anarchy 101.
No, he's way past 101. Check this out, Russ. Are you playing cornhole right now?
We just finished the tournament. We just got third place. We just finished. I'm walking out the door now. Yeah, it was a little charity event. I forget the name of it, for a little church, but we're actually playing for a church. How nice is that?
Wow,
that's awesome.
Man, we put a notch in your belt.
Well, yeah, Russ pulled the charity event card on me because he knew when we were talking or texting at the beginning of the show, he's like, I'm going to be a little late. And he's like, I'm playing cornhole. I'm like, Russ, why didn't you tell me? Oh, it's for charity. And so he plays that card. What do I do? No, don't play for the kids. Don't play for the kids, right?
Really? Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah. Gus, Moni, you guys seem to be normal people. I thought you guys would come on here and just like, I thought you guys would come on here and I was like, I would have to say at least 2 times, Russ, calm down. And I haven't had to say it once then. And, you know, I'm all about a good soundbite.
Yeah.
What you shared is good information. You know, Russ is just he's not been able to let loose like he normally would. So.
I see. So we gotta give him something to sink his teeth into.
Yeah, ruffle his feathers a little bit.
Yeah. Got to come in proselytizing.
Yeah, you know, here's a good one, Gus. Quote your favorite scripture. Quote your favorite scripture.
My goodness, my favorite scripture.
Yeah. So that Russ will listen and run through a stoplight. He won't even stop.
Okay. Okay. Well, mine is kind of going to reinforce the things I was saying, but it always, honestly, if you've known me for the past 10 or 15 years, was my favorite. And it says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. So Christians hear that, okay, let's go out, let's volunteer, let's go to the soup kitchen, you know, let's make sure that I'm, you know, living in this, you know, beautiful little pure place and I'm not in the bars, I'm not drinking a beer and all that. But it says that you do it by the renewing of your mind. And so to me, it all happens in the mind, our thoughts, how we perceive others, our non-judgment, how we look at others exactly at us. And you know, it's basic as it is, loving and vibrating and without air.
Yeah, he talks about the mind-body connection there. And basically, you know, the key to spiritual enlightenment, really, I believe, is the enlightenment of the body and using the body and the breath to shift your emotional state, to shift your autonomic nervous system into a place of tranquility, joy, and peace, which I know of no other method for doing that works better than yoga and meditation. And, you know, research has proven this over and over again. So using those things to shift us out of a negative place into a positive, peaceful, and loving place really is tremendous. Another scripture that I like is, Jesus said, take my yoke upon you, for I am meek and lowly, and learn of me. He said, let me back up. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and take my yoke upon you. And the word yoga in Sanskrit simply means a yoke. It means to be unified, to have union. And, I believe that Jesus was the greatest yogi of all time. There is quite strong circumstantial evidence, historical evidence, that he spent the years between his 14th and 29th birthday in India actually studying under some of the greatest yogis. And so when he used the term yoke, he was saying, use my yoga, use my method, my practice to join yourself to the divine intelligence that brought the universe into being.
Mm. Hey, Russ, hold on.
Yeah.
Before you respond, I want everybody to know, as you're leaving a bar and you finish drinking alcohol, please respond.
Well, I was just saying, if Jesus could have done us all a huge favor by just mentioning, just like the downward dog position, so we would go, sure. But it's like,
nice, huh?
Yeah, why did it have to be such a big mystery?
Yeah, I mean, the mystery, it's quite alarming. As Sam Harris said, it's like any modern person can, through an easy rewrite of the Bible, just put something in there like, hey, don't ever abuse children for any reason, and it would have made the book a lot better than it is right now. And take a couple of those silly commandments about golden calves and crap out of there, and put never harm a child. If you do, you'll go to the ninth depths of hell, or something like that. Then you can make the book a little bit better. But yeah, I wish they could have made it a little more, if it was going to be. But I think some of the stuff you see in the Bible, though, you're absolutely right, because the world is, billions of years, or the universe is billions of years old, and the world is hundreds of millions of years old. China was a civilization way before lots of Europe was, and a lot of those Eastern, the Bible is actually plagiarized, but from several different mythologies that they all brought into one, and that's why I think you see a lot of that Eastern teaching in there too. Confucius knew a long time ago that do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's a principle that precedes the Bible by probably hundreds or maybe thousands of years.
Yeah,
exactly. And Buddha lived 600 years before Christ, and many of the sayings of Christ himself are either direct or indirect quotations from the Buddha. And that was something that was hard for me to get my mind around, having been a Christian pastor for all those years. But it is what it is, and the historical evidence is there. So that's another reason that I do believe that there was a strong Eastern influence on Jesus, and and there are actually scrolls in the Tibetan monasteries that talk about a Saint Issa, which is very close to the name Yeshua, which is the Hebrew name for Jesus, who went to India between around his 14th and 29th birthday and spent time there studying. And then they talk about how that he went back to his land and was there crucified for standing up against the ruling class. I do believe that the Christianity of today is a far cry from the original teaching of its founder, the teachings of Jesus. My experience is that much of Christianity has become about greed and control and power, which the things that Jesus in his teachings was absolutely against.
Yeah.
Now be honest, Gus and Moni, did you contribute at all to Joel Osteen's mansion?
No, but we contributed to someone else's mansion.
Okay.
We had our own neighbors that had their own mansion, so sadly, boy, we were sucked into all of that. But Kevin and us both, this is where we feel so privileged. We look through different eyes now, but with that, for me, I still believe that Jesus was on this earth and was resurrected, and I hold on and I believe in that, and I do believe in eternity. But like Gus was saying, so much of Christianity now wasn't the true message that Jesus was giving. So with that, we glean and we pick, and then we've looked to the east and the wisdom that they've had for, like you said, way before Christ ever came along. And we glean wisdom and truth from them. And if there's something that a Hindu quoted or has said that is of wisdom, we take from that. I don't feel that I'm too proud to glean wisdom from all the centuries of scholars and so forth on this earth. So let's take all that wisdom and let's go to that next level. Let's grow, in our community, and where we're vibrating in. But in the end, I hold on, I do hold on to the cross, but kind of have dismissed a lot of, the little square, the four square of Sunday morning. So we feel like we have the best of both worlds, is my point. And I'm privileged in my life to have that.
And that's a cool thing. I think I'm okay with that, because I'm a teeter. I'm like a tweener. I do believe in a higher power. It's not a loving higher power, obviously, because if it was loving, then kids wouldn't be suffering. We wouldn't have all this bullshit that we're dealing with. So no loving God, but a higher power. And Russ, I know, from what they just said, wrap your message up for this.
I kind of dig what they're saying. The only thing that I would, the thing where it comes full circle, yes, the modern Christianity is in probably, modern Christianity is probably a lot better than 15th century Christianity when, King Henry VIII was burning people at the stake and, you had all that stuff going on. But here's the thing. The only thing to blame, you can blame people all you want, but people are going to be people generation after generation, and any creator would have known this. So the thing to blame for the difference in the message of the person Jesus and Christianity is the Bible, period. Because the Bible was, thrown together over, several years, 60, 80 years after Jesus even lived. When they started first putting it together, they voted a lot of books out, things. It's a combination of texts that come together that, has some discrepancies, this, that, and the other. But the interpretation of that book is what's gotten so far from the message of the benevolent person of Jesus. So that's what I just, if you can't tell already, I dislike the Bible on many levels because I can't believe I ever even thought that it was something that was, good for anyone, in my view. So, and that's, I've been, I saw some corruption and this, that. Now, there was never really religious. My parents were both hippies, and they were just kind of peace, love, and happiness. And, actually, my dad was into Buddhism for a while. He actually got into Buddhism. He was kind of a heavy pot smoker at that time, but the Buddhism was kind of the threefold path or whatever was kind of his deal. But what I'm saying is that I blame the book. That book, as Thomas Paine said, he would consider it blasphemous to blame the creator of the universe for writing any of the holy books, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, which is the Old Testament. But it's just the books is where I think a lot of the intellectuals that are kind of against religion are point, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Wow, guys. Like I said, I thought I had put on a black and white striped shirt tonight, thinking I was going to be refereeing a little bit. And Russ said it twice. I'm, what was your word, Russ?
Digging what they're saying.
Yeah. So it's been all good. Gus, Moni, share with us how you guys can be reached through social media.
Our Twitter handle is @WellspringAware. Our YouTube channel is Wellspring Awareness, and then our email is wellspringawareness at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Very good. And you got your Facebook page, correct?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Very cool. Russ, I feel like it was like good karma here tonight. I'm taking in what they're saying, and I still can breathe pretty good. I kind of dig where they're going with this, and
it comes back to a phrase that I coined when me and my wife have a disagreement. I said, "Hey, you cannot argue with positive energy, no matter what message the energy has. It might not be a message you agree with, but you cannot. There's no argument when positive energy exists." So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well played.
That's where it's at.
Exactly.
So,
Jesus said
what I'm
go ahead.
No, finish up, Gus. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the founder of Christianity, Jesus, in the book of Luke said that the purpose of preaching the gospel was to set the captives at liberty and to bind up the brokenhearted. That is the essential core of the teaching of Jesus Christ. And if we're running around judging people and beating them up, then we're missing the whole point. So if we're bringing positive energy, like you said, and setting people free and binding up the brokenhearted, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That is what it should be about. Right.
Amen.
Yes, very good.
That's a beautiful
we get an amen from Russ. You get an amen from Russ. That's progress, guys. You get an amen from Russ. It's real.
Yeah.
Hey,
and
Gus, Moni.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, finish. What were you going to say? No,
well,
I'm.
Yeah. It's just, when you're in that place and, like setting the captives free and healing the brokenhearted and ministering in that sense, it doesn't have to come with a scripture and, hey, you need to get there for an hour on Sunday morning. It never has to be labeled and attached to that. You do the work, and God's big enough to clean up the rest. And if he wants to open anyone's eyes to anything else, he's big enough to do it. We don't have to walk around as many redeemers.
There you
go.
That was all. Good stuff. Gus, Moni, I think I'm going to need the quarterly Wellspring awareness from you guys down the road, because this was filling for me. I felt good. So
thank you.
I'll connect with you. Oh. Yeah, we'll connect with you guys, and hey, good stuff tonight. I thought I was going to have to mute Russ's mic 2 or 3 times, and not once. So there you go, Russ. You played very well, my man.
Positive.
Yes. All right, Gus, Moni, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be in touch. Take care.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Russ, continuing with our wellness, Wellspring Awareness was the segment, and that kind of a wellness approach. A friend of mine that, I don't know, Cynthia, I don't know, we were connected through both our marriages to one side of a family. Now, both of us have since, disengaged from that family, but nonetheless, we're still friends. Cynthia Williams, who is the owner of 502 Fit Pass. Russ, Cynthia, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Russ, did you see the Facebook picture of Cynthia?
I think so. I was clicking through to see to kind of read about the Fit Pass thing, because I was kind of curious. I like the concept of it, so I think I might have skipped ogling the picture to get to the meat of the story.
Well, thank you.
Really? Oh. You bypass the chick just to get to the words, right? That's
it looks good enough to be just like like a gym B-roll. So I'm like, just like, okay, another hot chick at a gym, great.
She is a hottie. Cynthia is a great person. Cynthia, you've how long have you been doing this Fit Pass thing? Well, actually, before you say, share with us first, when did this come into your head to start going in this direction, and then when did this all come about?
Okay. Well, I started working on FitPass probably end of November last year. Starting putting all the pieces together. I had to build software for it and started, talking with the gyms and things like that, a lot of pre-work, if that's even a word, before I could even get it out there that we were even doing this. There was a lot of stuff that I had to lay the groundwork for. And then got that going, got gyms on board, got the software going, things like that. And then we were able to officially launch on May 14th of this year. So we're a little under 3 months old.
Just 3 months?
Yeah, only 3 months. So, but I've been...
Seems like I've seen videos of you exercising and wearing me out mentally with those images for longer than 3 months.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've always been training and teaching class. I've been doing that for 12 years. But the actual FitPass concept and what we're doing with building the community, that in and of itself is only 3 months. But, no, I've been kicking ass for years.
Kicking ass, taking names, just like I know she would. Tell us about the kind of classes and programs that you all offer or do there.
Okay. Well, currently we have 46 locally owned and operated gyms. That's kind of our mission, is just to work with all the local gyms. We'll never partner up with like the YMCA or LAC or LA Fitness, or we're not about the big box gyms. We're about the small ones where you've got trainers or exercise physiologists. Some of them are that have built a craft and then opened a business around that particular craft, so they really know their business, whatever the gym is that they go into. But we have everything from bar to boot camp to CrossFit to cycling to kickboxing to TRX to we even have ballroom dancing and hip hop dancing and anything that can be a group fitness class of sorts. We've tried to get on board with us and partner up to give people options and to start to break down some walls, maybe getting some people to do some things, which we have. We've had some members join that have never done some of the classes and gone to some of the facilities that they're going to now because they were intimidated or worried about walking in the door and just being sold the whole time, while you're in there. And they just really want to go in and try out the gym. When they come in under FitPass, it kind of eliminates some of that for them where they can just go in, take the class, see if it's a facility that they like. If they want to come back, they come back. They don't want to come back, they don't have to. So,
right.
And what we're doing.
You mentioned that you're not aligning yourself up with like LAC and some of the other. Why is that?
Because I really want to focus on from being in the fitness industry for the last 12 years and working at some of those big box gyms and then going to the smaller gyms, seeing both sides of it. And I shouldn't just generalize, but I worked at 3 of the big box gyms in Louisville. And they take any trainer. They take any group fitness instructor. They take anybody with any sort of certification, and it's just like anything else. I could go online and pay $100 and get some form of a personal trainer certification and then go out and train. That's typically what you're going to find in the big box gyms. When you come to the boutique gyms, you've got people that have graduated with some sort of exercise degree. They've then gone on and got like their ACE cert or their NASM cert or some other certification that requires lots and lots of studying, lots of practical exams, things like that. So these are people that I would trust myself to go in and hire as a trainer.
What are all of the certs that are attached to you, Cynthia?
I am an ACE certified personal trainer, and then a Mad Dog certified spin instructor, an AFA group fitness instructor, an AFA the Diet Free Life certification, and what else? A bunch of other little tiny certifications that are tied into my ACE certification. But the main ones that count are my ACE cert and my Mad Dog cert. Those are the ones that allow me to teach and train.
Mad Dog? Is that truly how it's...
Yeah. Mad Dog Fit. They're the most widely known spin. They actually are the ones that have trademarked the phrase spinning. So unless you are a Mad Dog certified facility, you cannot call your cycling classes spinning, actually.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Russ, are you breathing heavy listening to all this?
Hey, I went to physical therapy today, so I've worked my legs out, all lower body, but I did a little rehab today, so I'm feeling some burn right now.
Right.
Okay. Cynthia, where's your location?
Well, I'm all online. The Fit Pass is 100% online. You go online to sign up for membership and to schedule your classes. Once you become a member, you get access to our scheduler, which is huge. I mean, we're averaging between 100 and 115 classes a day that we're offering our members.
Wait a minute. You're saying you do all this online?
Yeah, the Fit Pass is online, 100%.
Oh wow! I didn't know that. I knew some of it was. I didn't know it was 100%. So there's no physical location that you.
Oh no.
Where you do?
There's 46 physical locations, but for a member to become part of Fit Pass, everything's done online. They register for their classes online. They sign up online. Then they get access to what we call our Fit Pass portal, and this is where the portal that is linked to all the 46 gyms, where they go in and they input their class schedule. And then the members can just go to one spot and register for their classes, and then they travel to whichever gym that they've signed up for the class at.
Kevin, it's like when somebody gives you a gift card to the mall. You know, the gift card's good for all the stores.
Pretty much.
Her Fit Pass is good for all the local boutiques that were already kind of,
26 of them.
Yeah.
46.
46.
And
holy
growing.
hell.
Yeah. We'll be 47 by the end of this week. I can't officially say their name until Saturday when we get them signed on, but we have another one coming on this week. Last week, I'm super excited. We just signed on D1 Sports Training. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that place. It's a huge place out off Blankenbaker.
Yeah.
By like Baptist Health, and Chris Redmond's got his hand in it and stuff. So it's a really, really nice facility, and they came on last week. So I can't wait to get out there and try one of their classes.
How many hours you putting in a week on this, Cynthia?
I just don't even count anymore. My mornings start at 6 a.m. and I usually don't finish till 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
And then about the only, and then weekends I'm out promoting Fit Pass. I'm working a booth somewhere, working something somewhere. So pretty much since we started, I've maybe had 10 days off in the last, 9-10 months.
Not to throw this in your face, Cynthia, you were Del Hollow over the weekend, right?
Right, that's part of the couple days I'm counting.
Okay, just
yeah.
So that was time off.
Yeah.
You weren't there because your family has a place down there, right?
Yeah, parents got a houseboat, and my brother's in from Germany, so we had a little family reunion down there this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because the other side of our family, that other side is down there too.
Yeah.
Do you cross paths with him?
No, don't ever really run into them.
It is a big lake.
It is a very big lake, and we're on the Tennessee side now.
Okay. That's very good.
Yep.
Well, Cynthia, share with us all of your social media.
Everything's 502 Fit Pass, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all across the board, just 502 Fit Pass. You can find us, our website, check us out.
How do Russ and I get a 8x10 autographed Cynthia Williams Fit Pass picture? I'm still a Cynthia fan. I'm a Cynthia fan. I'll always be a Cynthia fan.
Well, thank you, Kevin.
Just because. Yeah.
You can come. I'm going to do a 502 Fit Pass night here in August down at the Hub. You guys can come there and have a beer on me.
Uh-oh. You hear that, Russ?
I'm there. The Hub, where's that?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Where is that,
Where?
Cynthia?
The Hub down on Frankfurt Avenue.
Okay.
Really,
Okay.
Really,
Yeah.
it's a good bar.
Good stuff, Cynthia. What's for the rest of the year? What are your goals as we close out 2016? Because we are 7 months into this year.
I know. Goal is, to hit fall. Hopefully our membership numbers keep going up. And then my next step is to take this to Lexington.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'd like to get it Lexington and then hit Cincinnati. And it would all just be one network. So if you're a member in Louisville and you just happen to be in Cincinnati, you could hit one of the gyms that would be on the pass up there. Same thing in Lexington.
Good.
So you better
Good for
hurry
you.
up and go register usafitpass.com.
Yeah. I've already bought several names up. I'm good.
Oh, good girl.
Yep.
Smart girl. All right, Cynthia Williams, owner 502 Fit Pass. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It's always a pleasure to reconnect with you.
You too. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, I'll be in touch. Best of luck, girl.
All right.
All right, take care. Russ, Cynthia was married to Melanie's cousin. Obviously, you know Melanie, and we both, Cynthia and I both became disengaged with that family, if you will. So, anyways, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you home, Russ?
I am home.
All right. Well, let's as we're winding down this show, let's bring on our guy Jake Badger, drummer from WildWood, who said he would give Claire some drumming lessons. He's also heading this third annual Country for the Kids benefit for Camp Quality Kentuckiana, which is August the 7th, next Sunday, and it's at Wick's. Well, this coming Sunday. That's right. This coming Sunday at Wick's Pizza in New Albany, and there are a ton of some great bands playing to this. Jake, what's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
No. Russ, I mean, we all know each other by first name. It's like I just say Jake. We know who Jake is, right, Russ?
Yep, we sure do.
Yep, we sure do. All right, Jake, go on, preach it. Tell us what's going on with this benefit.
Well, coming down to the nitty-gritty here, a couple days away, and trying to put all the last-minute installments to the show, and trying to get everything lined up, and got a hell of a lineup this year. What started out as being 3 bands a couple years ago, and kind of keeps growing, and now I feel like I got the best bands in the city right now that are making the most noise, and they're all going to be under one roof. So, and it's not often that we all get to play together. Everybody's always out doing their own thing on Friday and Saturday nights in various bars or whatever, and to be able to bring the whole music scene in one spot for a great cause is going to be a lot of fun.
Now you got, besides your band WildWood, Caribou, which is a local legendary band for many years.
Yes.
Kirby's Dreamland, who is, they have their own little cult following. Smoke, Junction Creek, Blackbird County, Luke Watson Band, the Woodward Brothers, City of Country. Man, it's like you got all these. This thing starts at 11:30 on Sunday, something like that.
Yeah, it's going to kick off 11:30 Sunday morning, which is early, but we got the guys doing. City of Country is going to do a little acoustic performance to open us up, and then the Woodbourne Brothers are going to start us off full band. Those guys are from Bowling Green, for those not familiar. They used to be called Southbound 65.
Right.
And great group of guys. It's like the Texas, what they call it, Red Dirt Country, I think is what they call it.
Red Dirt, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they got a lot of good stuff, and so get out there early and support those guys. And it's just a hell of a lineup throughout the day. Really fortunate to be able to have so many great bands on one.
They are great. Do you know right now the actual order of performance for the bands?
I do.
Share with us that.
City of Country kicks us off at 11:30. Southbound 65. Or I'm sorry, the Woodbourne Brothers go full band at noon, and after that it's Luke Watson Band, Blackbird County, Junction Creek, Smoke, Kirby's Dreamland, WildWood, and Caribou.
So I guess Caribou is your last. All right.
Yeah.
When will this end? What's the timing on when all this will shut down?
Caribou goes on at 7 o'clock, and they'll play for roughly about an hour. So I'd say it all should be over with by 8:30 at the absolute latest.
Yeah. And this is the third annual Country for the Kids benefit. Have you been part of the previous two?
I have. 2 years ago.
Tell us the difference between this third one and the first two.
Well, 2 years ago, Eddie Bobbitt, who's a good friend of mine from high school.
He'll be coming on Wednesday night to do another promo.
Awesome. He called me and said, "Hey, I know you have a band. Would you all be interested in doing a fundraiser for us?" So I said, "Well, let me reach out to a couple friends of mine," and I got Blaze Streets and David Whitney to come out.
Ooh.
And kind of did like a last minute. I mean, we planned it out in like 2 weeks and did the show, and we raised $1,200, and I was super happy with that. And I looked at Eddie afterwards, and I was like, "Man, it's $1,200. That's quite a bit of money." I was like, "How many kids did we send to camp?" And he's like, "We sent one." And I was like, "Damn it!" So it was back to the drawing board for me. And
that's when, and actually, but you know what? That was your moment to realize, oh, wait a minute, reality just set in. What you did for that first gig took care of one. Now you know. Right. I want to send more kids. So and now looking at this, the third annual, the bands that you got. What is your goal from after Sunday? How many kids are going to be impacted potentially?
Well, last year we raised $4,000.
Wow.
And had a lot more time to plan and stuff like that. So I did the same thing this year. I started real early working on I wanted to get a lot of sponsors involved this year, a lot of local business from New Albany, because there's so many great local restaurants and local organizations that get involved. So far, we haven't released this yet, but I'm gonna release it right now because I'm pretty pumped about it. So far, we've already beat our mark from last year.
Good deal.
With just sponsorships and donations. So before we even
that's not
get
even the door. Yeah.
Yeah, before we even start taking money in the door, we've already beat the $4,000 from last year. So we're already sending 4 kids. I hope to send another 4. I'd really like to hit 8,000 this year.
Okay.
So
good.
I think we got a good shot at that. So.
It's funny. What's today? Yesterday, I had lunch with my daughter named Claire, and she was asking. We were talking about this event. We're going, and she pointedly asked me, what are you trying to do with your podcast? What is your end game? And the truth is, if Russ and I, Tiffany, Greg, all of us could have these podcasts that could generate some type of revenue, that's obviously the end game. But the reality is that if we could work with the Jakes, the WildWoods, work with people, I want to do my own fundraiser to take care of kids or something. That's where I think. I'm content with our show being associated with helping a cause. And
Absolutely.
Jake, you reach out to me. You'll always have airtime, and we'll shove it down everyone's throat on Facebook, because that's who we are. But yeah, it is. I mean, and the thing is that Jake, you don't have kids. I have kids. I have grandkids. I have a grandson who's suffering from an issue that I will, look to do a benefit for. Russ, you're daughter's, 4 or 5. I mean, it's just, we think kids. We think, right now, kids in reality is like, that's what life is right now for us. And if we can do something to set things in motion to help our kids and their kids and people down the road, I'm good with that. So, and I can see Jake, Jake. I mean, this is what's cool about you. This is, I've got to know Russ. I've got to know Jake as a person. Jake's in law enforcement. Obviously, he's in a band. He's in a band that's very successful local. I mean, they are red hot locally. And then he takes the time out to do this kind of thing. And so that tells me, that's all I need to know about Jake. So, I mean, I'm being serious, Jake.
I appreciate it.
Your intentions, it's like from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed are pretty good. And and I'm serious. I mean, you're serving the public as far as your day job goes, and then you're playing, and by playing music to people, you're taking them out of you're giving us a break from reality for a few hours to enjoy some music, some vibe, and then you take the time to work these events, and that's a good thing. So give yourself.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And that's exactly what the camp is for these kids too. It's a break from reality.
Mm-hmm.
We all kind of take our day-to-day lifestyle for granted, and I mean, it could easily change in the blink of an eye. And then some of these kids, I mean, they're born straight into this stuff. It's the only thing they know, and for them to be able to be around a group of kids that's kind of going through the same thing, same hospital stays and stress from chemotherapy and stuff like that, and from just to be able to go out and be a kid again and be around other kids and feel a sense of normalcy that they, might not normally feel, like just to be able to do that, and to see these kids at this camp, man, like it's the most rewarding thing ever.
And they're seeing kids, just like themselves, experiencing some right. But I have to ask you, Jake, though, because you're a guy in your 20s. You do not have children, right?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. And Russ and I have probably said that a dozen times or two. But what though has been the inspiration? If you're not, was there some moment or some family or something that just said, I've got to get involved. I've got to use my music status, if you will, to push these type of events. Was it something that, someone that?
My grandmother who raised me died from breast cancer when I was going in my freshman year of high school. So cancer's kind of always been that, that kind of evil thing in the back of my mind that I always try to do what I can. We do the breast cancer walk in October and stuff like that just to try to give back and, help the cause. And when Eddie invited me to do this, and he invited me up to the camp, and every year they do a talent show every Thursday night at the camp. And these kids go up, and some of them sing, some of them dance. Some of them really don't even have a talent. They just twirl a hula hoop around their arm, but everybody claps like they just hit a 3-point shot at the end of the NCAA tournament. And it's just electrifying.
How fucking rewarding is that? I'm seriously. Right. Yeah.
That's one of the best experiences
what it's about.
Ever. And just to know that, I helped contribute to that. That's
absolutely.
I will do this. I always told Eddie, I was like, dude, I don't care if WildWood strikes gold next year and we're playing the biggest freaking tour ever, whatever. I was like, I'll still come back and do a benefit for that organization. And
now Jake, once you get involved if you get involved with the Kardashian, it kind of changes everything.
True, but I don't think I think I'm good on that end.
I don't know. There's someone near and dear to me that's got a little bit of Kardashian in her. That's totally. I think you know where I'm going, but that's.
Oh yeah.
Russ, you still there?
Yes, sir. I am here.
You digging this, Russ? Are you?
Oh, yeah.
How much alcohol did you consume tonight?
Not too much. I'm actually, but because of the whole gout thing, I've been having to lay low on the alcohol. I'm pretty much I'm steering away from the beer because that hurts the gout the worst. But I'm 2 or 3 bourbons. I'm pretty good.
And that's going alongside the medication for any pain, right?
No, well, no, I've been off. I haven't had any pain at all. To be honest, I didn't even have pain coming out of surgery, but I couldn't. I took about, of all the pain pills I had, and they gave me 2 different kinds because the first one made me sweat all night, and I didn't want to, I couldn't stand sweating all night. And the second one made me sleep 4 hours late, so, the later than I should. So I just had to get off those. The only reason I even took them after that was because when my gout acted up a little bad. But let's talk about the kids. I think we need to talk about the kids.
Exactly. It's all about the kids. Now, Russ, something like Jake, we take for granted. Your daughter is healthy as can be. Yep. I've got my kids are healthy, but my oldest grandson, is dealing with this thing called apraxia, which is kind of like a motor, dilemma issue because he's not speaking the way he should be speaking at his age right now. So. This is when the Jake's, when I hear Jake's story and I realize that our show definitely over a year into our show, going quite closer to 2 years, we are now making a little noise, or we've connected with the right people that come spring, I am going to do a benefit that's going to benefit apraxia and autism. And, of course, I can't do something like this without my man Jake involved. So, Jake, we'll be planning that all out. But, this is something that's I see it when, like, let's use Kevin McCreary. How his situation with his illness, all the people respond to Kevin. You know what I'm saying? And the community here. This is what I've seen, Russ. It's like I'm just constantly blown away because the WildWoods, the Kirbys, Soul Circuit, all these big time bands, Smoke. They are so willing to spend hours of their time to accommodate a benefit that they're only probably playing, I don't know, less than an hour. And it's all for the cause, and these guys get it. And that's where, I'm blown away. Now that I'm really into the local music thing, there's a lot of love when it comes to bands helping other band people, or just, in this case, Jake reaching out to people because he's taking care of kids, and there's other bands that want to help, and that's an awesome sight. And going there Sunday, when I go watch these bands Sunday, I'm gonna know every band there, and every band is fucking good. They're bands that we would go. Tell me, Jay. They're bands that we would go watch for, 2 to 4 hours at a gig.
Right.
And here they are giving their time. So I'm happy. I'm impressed. And for me to just, like, this, Jake, my show, I'll give you whatever voice you need to promote anything, and because that's who we are. So good.
I appreciate that, man. And my hat's off to these guys because a lot of people think being in a band is just showing up and playing and having a good time and drinking a few brews, but there's so much work that goes into having a band that's even somewhat successful. And a lot of these guys are just working their ass off week in and week out. And for all these guys to sit down, sit back what they're doing and take the time to drive up here. Because the Woodbourne brothers, those guys are coming from Bowling Green, and everybody's donating their time. Everybody's playing for free just for this cause. And I love how tight knit the country music scene is around here. It's like one big family. When somebody needs something, they're all right here to give back. When Kirby's trailer got stolen with all their gear, we all come together. Same thing with Kevin. We're all in the process of putting together a benefit.
Next month.
I don't know if they've released the lineup for that, but we all are part of that. Not yet. So.
Yeah, and you all are part. Yeah, and that's going to be huge too. It's going to be
freaking huge. I'm going to tell you that.
Well, let's go talk about Kevin, because Kevin McCreary, Russ, if you don't know, Kevin McCreary is he plays with Uncle Cracker, so he tours with Uncle Cracker. He is Uncle Cracker's guitarist, so that's a regular gig. He also is the guitarist for Velvet Saints, a local band I'm a fan of, and he does acoustic stuff with Christine Devereaux, which I'm actually going to go see Wednesday at Bistro. I do want to see my man Kevin, but Kevin had this illness, and I think it was Kevin Manning, the lead guy for the singer for Velvet Saints, established a GoFund thing, and the goal was $25,000. In one day, because we were doing the show last Wednesday, right when it started, Greg Unthink and I looked. One day, they had already hit over 14,000. I haven't looked today. I'm thinking it's probably awesome. 25 right now. And McQuarrie is such a good guy. And so I'm blown away. Music talent from the music perspective. There's so much good music here. There's so much talent. You guys, Jake, your band, all these bands that are playing, they're such good musicians, good sounds. It's talent. And then just knowing that people who are that talented can, I'm straight shooting here, can kind of put their ego in check and give time, because you pointed out the guys from Bowling Green, their drive to and from their round trip will be longer than the gig.
Absolutely.
But they're wanting to help, and that's the love, and that's good stuff. So.
And another thing too, I had to turn bands away from this gig.
Did you? Wow.
When I posted, I put a post up back in end of January or February. I said, hey, I'm doing the third annual Country for the Kids this year. If your band is interested in doing it with us, send me a message. And I probably had 35 to 40 bands, and of course I couldn't get everybody in to one day. I had to narrow it down to. It went from 10
I would
to
be
9.
so curious. I would love that. Would make good radio, Jake, if you told me the process on what it took for you to.
Well, it was a tough decision. I wanted a good mix, which it's technically country for the kids, but there's some of the groups in there that they're not really full blown country. Kirby does a couple country songs, but they're mainly a rock group.
Right.
And man, I had so many people reach out, and to be honest with you, last year I had 6 bands, and it wore me out. It was nonstop. I was like, man, next year I was like, I hope I can just land 3 really good solid bands with a good draw and go from there. And
well, you got 8 to 10.
And I think we got 9 this year. And,
9. Wow.
It's a blessing for real. I guess a blessing.
I'm curious though.
It's going to be a long day, but it's all. It
is going to be a long day.
I'm putting hours in for it.
Well, here's the plan that I'm going to talk to you, because I want to. Greg and I talked. We were talking about doing a mini little show there Sunday, interviews and stuff. So we'll figure that out. But I'm curious though, Jake, you running this, does it cause issues for you to say no to bands that maybe had their heart set on doing this?
It hasn't.
Okay.
I try to, I don't just give them a flat no. I mean, I told everybody that I had to turn down. I'm like, look, I had a certain amount of time, and it was a first come, first served basis, and whoever reached out first got the gig. I'm glad I was able to have like a good variety of people. I mean, we got Caribou, who those guys are, like you said, they're legends, and also fellow law enforcement officers, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got Kirby, who's, they got a bunch of traction, but then you got the guys like City of Country, Luke Watson Band. Those guys are newcomers, and it kind of gives them a chance to get their name out there in front of people that normally might not hear them. So, and then, of course, you got the guys from Bowling Green who we're trying to get them some more traction up here in Louisville, which they've done a couple shows. But it's just a win in all directions, man. Like, you get to play in front of people who you don't normally see, and it's for a great cause, and it's going to be we all had a blast at the Eddie Ray benefit, and that was just acoustic. I can't wait for Sunday.
Yeah. Russ, would you have pushed for some karaoke time?
Hey, if anything for the kids. I mean, if somebody's gonna come to see me make a fool of myself, or throw some money at something because there's an ass on stage, then I'll be glad to contribute my time.
There he is. Well, all right. It's all right, Jake. Wrap us up. Sunday, August 7th, Wick's Pizza in New Albany. First band will start at 11:30. The event goes until 8-ish. What else?
We will have a silent auction. I'm not 100% sure what all is going to be there. I got people donating stuff left and right. But I do know Q103 is one of our sponsors, and we are going to raffle off a pair of Chris Stapleton tickets.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to be selling chances to win for probably like $5 or something and walking around, and we're going to see how much money we can get for that. And we got a lot of stuff planned. It should be fun. It's a extremely busy weekend for me because we're in Knoxville Friday night, and then we got the rescheduled. Right. We got the rescheduled.
You're in Knoxville.
4th of July
when do you get
Saturday.
Back from Knoxville? Sometime Saturday, right?
Yeah, I have to be back for load-in at the New Albany Amphitheater at 3 p.m. Because we're playing with the Crashers.
Lord.
So, and then the next night, the next day is the Country for the Kids. So I took off Monday to sleep.
I was gonna say you're gonna need toothpicks to keep your eyelids open Sunday night.
But
yeah, good stuff.
It's good to be busy, and it's gonna be a fun weekend. So
that's a lot of bongo banging.
It is.
and
I'm playing.
Jake.
I'm playing with two bands for Country for the Kids. I'm playing drums for Blackbird County and WildWood.
Are you? Okay. Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. I think I did hear about that. Oh, okay, good. Dude, man, that's good stuff. I know, like I said, Eddie is going to come on Wednesday nights to do one last promotion for it. And Eddie is one of the people who Russ actually is involved with Camp Quality Kentuckiana.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be doing
his. He'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. He is a good guy. Love Eddie. So, all right, Jake, thanks for hanging with us. And if I don't talk to you anymore, I will see you Sunday.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Take care, bro.
All right. Bye.
See you, Jake.
Thanks.
Later, man.
So here we are, Russ. You sound tired. You tired?
It just came over me like a ton of bricks. I was sitting here on the couch and just kind of chilling, had a little snack while you all were talking a little bit. I ate a little bit of peanut butter and honey, and then drank some water, and I just felt like I had to get up early today, so it just kicked in.
All right. Well, I guess let's just get the show wound down. Good show. Actually, what was your overall take on the first segment?
It's pretty interesting. I think they're kind of treading, a line. They're kind of walking a line there between the two of them. But I mean, on one hand, I couldn't really pin them down because on one hand, I think it's neat because they're definitely into the yoga and the meditation, which there's a lot of, because it does incorporate the body and because meditation incorporates the mind. Those are very beneficial things to do. And of course, from my standpoint, holy books that are divinely inspired are some of the biggest problems that we have on the planet Earth. So for me, it would be really hard to intermingle the biblical stuff with some of the more spiritual things that we can look at, from a scientific basis, meditation and, exercise, physiology, things of these, they're really benefiting the body. I just think maybe he kind of incorporates the other just to draw from a bigger crowd of people, maybe, I don't know, to just, get both sides of it and maybe get a contingency of people who are really, wanting to incorporate both. I mean, there's probably a lot of, Christians out there that want to do this, that, or the other, but they don't feel comfortable, and this kind of gives them an avenue to feel comfortable. So, I don't know. I think it kind of plays both sides of the fence, but I did like what they were positive and they were,
Yeah, I mean, just to your point, they're promoting positive energy, positive karma, good karma, and they did share their kind of past issues, if you will, with some of their church time, and so they get all that. And I thought the segment was actually pretty solid.
They definitely seem traumatized from their church days.
Yeah. So, but traumatized, but enlightened to take the next step. And now that I think they have an understanding of where they want to go and what they need to do and how they kind of still can mix up with what they did get out of the church or Bible, the Christian time, to, this, the yoga, the meditative, Eastern meditative practice, yoga practices. So
easy for you to say.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Let me give a quick shout out again. Friday night, so this coming weekend, our guy Chris Lucian at the county line. Bands Friday night. Big Steel Train. Brian Elmore's group will be there on the 5th and on the 6th. Saturday, Tayler, Lynch, and the Insane Outlaws will be jamming it up at the line. Again, representing our man Chris Lucian, manager of the County Line. The County Line brings Shooting from the Lip Monday night show in part to you guys. So we thank Chris for that. Luciano. Russ, I'm going to throw one quick statement at your article as you're buzzing and winding down. Do you know there's an after-school Satan's Club? Did you hear about that?
I heard something about it. I saw something about it on Facebook. I'm not sure where it is or what school.
Yeah, I went to Snopes. It's a religious organization called the Satanic Temple. Seeks to establish after-school Satan clubs in public schools. Is it an effort to teach Satan worship to kids? We don't know. The claim, a group called the Satanic Temple wants to establish after-school, clubs to introduce children to the religion of darkness. What's true, the organization called the Satanic Temple seeks to do this club in public elementary schools to counter what they see as religious indoctrination by Christian programs such as the Good News Club. But what's false, after-school Satan clubs are aimed at teaching children to believe in supernatural. So that's the false part. They're not, but, with every one extreme there's another. With every yin there's yang. Are the after-school Satan people out of line to step in and show a different side of life?
If it's what I'm thinking, if it's, were you the one that sent me that link with the guy that opened up the prayer in Tallahassee, Florida, some kind of satanic deal or something? Did you send me that link?
Probably.
Okay.
The link that you ignored?
No, I'm getting ready to tell a story about that link, and just to show you that I do look at your link. I was the one that told you about the 502 Fit Pass earlier because I actually read through it and seen everything it was about. I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool.
I was impressed. That you did.
But no, this link basically was this allegedly satanic group. Most of these satanic groups that are coming out that are putting like Christmas displays up in Michigan and opening prayer at Tallahassee, they have nothing to do with Satan. They're just trying to troll. It's a form of trolling, right. Really fundamentalist Christians because they say, oh my God, because they really believe in the devil and shit like that. So it's basically just trolling them. So I get the feeling from what I saw online about this school thing is first of all they're gonna have a hard time because it's hard to get somebody to go along with trolling at its kid's age. I'm sure it'll be in high school or something like that. But I think they're just trolling Christians and just trying to show that hey, there's supernatural mumbo jumbo everywhere, and they're using their own supernatural mumbo jumbo against them because they're taking the other side, and it's just showing how crazy these people can be. Like, oh my God, I don't know. They're trying to. They're cheering for the devil instead of cheering for God. Something bad's going to happen. God's going to get mad at us for you cheering for the devil.
They're cheering for the Duke Blue Devils instead of whatever.
The Wildcats. No, that is a sin.
Yeah, that is a sin. What other stories came up? Let me see. Here's an interesting story. I thought this was kind of neat, Russ. This is where a grandfather, check this out, a grandfather donated his kidney. Here's actually the story. And I didn't realize you could do this. A grandfather, his grandson is in need of a kidney. So what the grandfather did, and he did it right, he played the card in order to help his 4-year-old grandson because his kidney couldn't work for his 4-year-old grandson. One, the size, because the grandson was too young, and two different scenarios, two different kidneys, if you will. So what the grandfather realized is that I'm going to donate one of my kidneys right now to whoever needs it. And he did it. And it wasn't family related. Somebody in the U.S. got the benefit of this grandfather's kidney. But by default, because of what the grandfather did, that moved his grandson up the list. So now once a kidney that matches his grandson becomes available, his grandson now, because of his grandfather's willingness to give the kidney to whoever just needed it, is helping his grandson now. Do you know where I'm going with it?
Yeah, I mean, how far up the list did it move him?
It moved him like it shot him up the list. I don't know the exact number, but it, based on what it's saying, is that he actually now qualified for the next available type kidney that he needed. So I guess shot him up.
Seems weird, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like you found a loop in the system there, right?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, I would go with that. But now I did see something similar to that where this father allegedly gave his own life to give his kidney to his daughter or his liver or something, and it was a big thing on Facebook. But it was a fake, because you can't. I mean, at least in the United States, there's no way they would let somebody take their own life to save another one. I don't care if it is your child; they're not going to let you kill yourself to save your child.
That's in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's my last one to you, and this one is one of those ones that the far right side, they're thinking really bothers me, Russ. Mm-hmm. A Missouri Republican, his comment: pregnancies resulting from rape are God's silver lining for the sexual assault. Go on. You know what? I am turning Russ's mic on right now. When I hear some right-wing nut who can turn rape into a positive, because in this case the rapist impregnates the victim, he is saying this is the silver lining. This is God's work. Whatever. Russ. Full Russ throttle, go.
It's just a straw. These fundamentalist Christians are so desperate for someone to listen to them, that's all they want. They want somebody to listen to them and give them half of a, vote of confidence that their worldview is not totally batshit crazy, but obviously it is batshit crazy. And so, this is just another, it's a game of one-upmanship to see how stupid and crazy they can be on the fundamental side. They think, blah, blah, blah. And, it's all about, it's like what Bill Maher said about this presidential election. Regardless of how you feel about Hillary, I don't like Hillary, this election is a referendum on decency, which means, are we going to be civil, or are we going to talk like human beings, regardless of how you feel? If my little girl was a little bit older and she was watching these presidential debates and what's going to come and seeing some of the antics and bullshit that Trump pulls, and she asked me, right now she didn't pay attention to that, but if she was 7 or 8 and was like, "What, Daddy, why is this person making fun of a handicapped person, and why is this person, saying all this terrible stuff, and why is he making references to his penis on TV? Is this, is this what goes on at the highest level of our government and politics?" I'd be like, "No, baby, it's not until, this stupid fuck right here showed up and decided to, make everybody look stupid by lowering the bar by playing a reality TV show character." So same thing happens with these, Christian fundamentalist groups. They're nuts, and they, the only thing they want to be right. They want to be right so bad that they'll, they want their worldview to be heard so bad that they'll try to make it more sensational and more, something like, if the God's silver lining, at least you get a rape baby. That's just a disgusting way to talk. No matter how you feel, it's just a disgusting way to be. Yeah, belittles the trauma and all that.
Yes. Anyways, thinking, what other questions did I have for you tonight?
What about the big story about the Kandar or whatever, the Muslim captain that got killed in combat?
What's your take on Trump's?
He's just, what he's done, and he's done it a couple of times, but he still managed to spring back. He wants to say the sensational, crazy shit because he's going off on the old adage that there's no such thing as bad publicity. And he's about made that true for himself, that there's no, there's almost no.
Right.
I mean, you've probably seen that soundbite where he says, I could walk out into the street from New York City and shoot somebody with a gun, and my poll numbers would go up. I mean, so, I mean, it's and he's somehow made that the truth. But this is about at least the second thing that he's done where even like Mitch McConnell, I mean, Republican company man, and Paul Ryan, who's had to just shake his head, Paul Ryan, who had to come around to even support Donald Trump and endorse him, and now, he has to put up with this bullshit. I mean, these are guys that have some decorum. They have some decency and some, they speak in a professional manner, and they come from areas where, the constituents expect them to be, behave in a professional manner. And you got all these, crazy Trump supporters that do not get it. It's coming from a place where they're pissed off, they're fed up, they think that the society's got to get them, and it's not for the working class man, and blah blah blah, and that's how they feel, and so Trump is their big fuck you to not being taken for granted. I guess that's the only thing I can think of. That last Facebook post I put on that showed Mitt Romney talking about what a con man and how many failed businesses. I mean, Trump Steaks, Trump Vodka, Trump Magazine, Trump University. What do you think of when you hear these things? Nothing, because you never even heard of them until this fucking election happened. You never even heard of, I'd never heard of Trump Vodka or Trump Steaks or Trump Magazine or Trump University until this election came up. So, they're obviously big time failures, and apparently Trump University bilked people out of money. The moral of the story is Trump is a con man playing a reality TV show character who is neck and neck with a career politician who has built her whole life around winning, becoming, either marrying the president, which she already did, and becoming president. So it's just, for her this to be her whole thing. And Donald Trump probably entered the election on a whim, just, on a goof almost. And here he is, neck and neck with her. It's pretty crazy.
At no time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.